It is Sunday, February 4th, 2024. Big storm coming in. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Weather is changing right now. It is definitely hitting Northern California at the moment. And I was reading this article earlier today. Millions at risk as California braces for record rainfall and high winds. They're calling for 4, 5, 6, even 7 inches of rain in some places. It said in the article, up to 37 million people were and are at risk from last night into today. They were thinking that the brunt of the storm was going to hit Northern California last night. That has changed. They're saying anywhere from 12 to 4 o'clock West Coast time that the brunt will hit Northern California, and it's moving down this way. 75-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rain, snow up in the mountains, power lines down. It is another reminder to all of us that we have got to be preparing daily. You don't know if it's going to be a man-made disaster, if it's going to be a natural disaster. And I want to give a shout out to Appalachia's Homestead, Patera. Thank you for the shout out the other day. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't watched Appalachia's Homestead, Patera is walking the walk. And, you know, when we talk about preparations, that's a great channel to really learn from, because she really walks the walk. She's really preparing. She's putting food away. She's working on her security. So I highly recommend Appalachia's Homestead. Patera, thank you so much for the multiple shout outs. You have a great channel. You're walking the walk, and I wish more people would walk the walk like you're doing. And this is why we prepare. Major storms, could be winter storms, could be rainfall like the one we're seeing in California, earthquakes, could be grids going down, cyber attacks, economic collapse, currency collapse. We have no idea what tomorrow brings, and this is why we must be preparing. Northern California, 142,000 people this morning had no power. Think about that, 142,000 people had no power this morning. Roads covered with debris, power lines down. Just a really, really rough weekend out here in California for a lot of people, and we're probably going to get ours later tonight and for the next 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're calling for rain out here. And I'll tell you, if the desert gets an inch of rain, it's a big deal, because there's nowhere for the water to go. We get 2 inches of rain, it's real big trouble. That last storm washed away so many roads. It washed away parts of I-10, some of the exits off of I-10. I-10 was closed down for certain parts of it were closed down for over a day, but some of the off-ramps and exits were washed away. Some of the roads out here in the desert just disappeared. They're still under construction from that last storm a few months ago. Daily Mail, California braces for bomb cyclone as Pineapple Express is set to dump 8 trillion gallons of rain, almost enough water to entirely fill Lake Mead. Now, of course, we probably in the state of California will not save or conserve most of this water. It'll just run off and be wasted. And then a year or two from now, we'll be talking about drought again out here. In some communities right now, Santa Barbara and Ventura County, they are asking some of these communities in these counties to evacuate their homes. You know, you'll see big mudslides, landslides, boulders coming down, and so areas that are along the mountainsides and whatnot, they're trying to evacuate right now. They're urging homeowners to get out. So we'll see how it plays out here in the desert. But apparently up north, it's been pretty bad, and it's probably going to get much worse this afternoon, and it's heading this way. By evening, we'll probably start getting some rain, but the skies behind me are getting very, very gray, and the wind is kicking up. I do apologize if it's messing with the audio. California bill would give unemployment benefits to people that are not from this country. What do you think about this? This on the Hedge today. January 1st, people from other countries who make it to California will receive free medical care. We talked about this a couple times. What do you think about that? The governor here, Newsom, said if you can make it to California and you're from some other place in the world, you're going to get free medical care. Comment down below on that. 764,000 people from other countries were added to already stuffed rolls of the 14.6 million Californians on Medi-Cal. The cost, ladies and gentlemen, is only an additional $4 billion to Californians. So while people in the state of California struggle paycheck to paycheck, they're struggling just to make it 1 week to the next. Taxes going up, we're paying higher taxes. We pay huge state tax here. We're dealing with record crime in the state of California, infrastructure crumbling, you name it. And now we're going to be on the hook for an additional $4 billion to take care of people when they go to the hospital who aren't even from here. Look, I don't want to see anybody in the entire world suffer. I don't want to see wars in the entire world. I don't want to see people dying. I want everybody in the world to live in peace. I want everybody to have a great life. I want everybody to be able to pay their bills. I want everybody to eat 3 square meals a day. I want everybody just to have a great life. But I live in the real world, and that's not reality. But what you're going to do is you're going to just destroy the last great country standing in the world, and it is really falling at a record pace. There's no doubt about that. We can all agree on that. This is not the America from 40 or 50 years ago, but it is still the last place where you have a chance. And if America goes, most of the world's going to go with it, because we're not going to be able to feed people. We're not going to be able to help people. And yes, you could argue we're not always helping people. We're dropping a lot of bombs across the world, and we've killed a lot of people too. I don't support any of that. It's a shame, because America could do so much good, because it's been blessed with so much wealth. There's so much opportunity here that's disappeared, of course. But we had such a great country at one point, and what we did was we weaponized the dollar. We opened up, over 1,000 military bases. We started endless wars. We took the lives of a lot of innocent people. We took over sovereign nations, and we never invade countries that grow lettuce and broccoli. We invade countries that have oil, that have gold, that have, assets that we want to control. So it's a shame. It really, really is, because we could have done so much good, and we really have not done as much as we could have done. But America is still, in my opinion, the greatest country on planet Earth, and it still has a chance to be a much greater country, and it still has a chance to help the rest of the world. But it will have no chance if you just flood it with millions of people that have no skills, no education, that are just coming to drain the system, that are here for the government subsidies, for the free money, for the free food, for the free healthcare. You're going to turn America into a third world country, and it's beginning to look like a third world country in many parts of America right now. The hedge. You know it's bad when Dr. Phil is involved. I was watching yesterday Dr. Phil down at the border. He said a few things, and I won't go through the whole article here, but it's on the hedge. Check it out. He says this is a humanitarian crisis unlike anything we have ever seen. He says that we are wasting taxpayer dollars. Plain and simple, this is being done on purpose. This is Dr. Phil saying this. I mean, unbelievable. So things are really happening down there that I think America is going to see huge ramifications down the road, with the cost of healthcare to take care of people, the cost to feed people. And again, we have no idea who's walking into this country, what their intentions are, why are they here, who are they, how long have they been here, and what are they going to do here? What do they plan on doing here? They talked to that one guy who called the reporter ignorant, and he said, "Soon you're going to know who I am." And this guy just got out of jail in the Middle East for 12 years for doing some pretty horrendous things. And he's now here walking around somewhere in America. Nobody knows where he's at. Here's one from CNBC. U.S. intends to take additional strikes against Iran-backed groups, National Security Advisor says. I talked about this yesterday. We are in this war now. And the question is, how much more does this thing accelerate? And does it does it turn into a full-blown global war, world war? It's very, very possible. And you're going to have some big players getting involved if we begin to strike Iran. And I was watching an interview with Lindsey Graham a day or two ago, where he's just ecstatic about going into Iran and blowing stuff up, blowing up pipelines in Iran, going into Iran and dropping bombs. This is a psychopath, ladies and gentlemen. This is a guy who's never been to war, a guy who's never been in a fight ever in his life, but he is ready to send your sons, your daughters over there to fight this war. Why we're there in the first place, I have absolutely no idea. We cannot even handle what's happening in our own backyard right now. This country is falling apart right here, right now, and we're 10,000 miles away dropping $1 million bombs as a bankrupt nation, over $34 trillion in debt. And Lindsey Graham wants to drop more bombs. He wants to go to Iran, and he wants to start a global war. He wants to bring in China and Russia and North Korea and Syria and all these countries. And I don't think Lindsey Graham understands there's no way America will win. America will be destroyed if this happens. Our strategic petroleum reserves have been evaporated. All the munitions that we sent over to Eastern Europe, the drones, the military equipment. We don't have a generation that is ready to fight. And honestly, I don't think many would be willing to fight for this in the first place. I know I certainly wouldn't be. I don't believe in this. I love this country, but I do not believe in what America is doing in these wars all over the world. But Lindsey Graham does. And Lindsey Graham is ready to send your kids over there. Okay, so these corporations that are making tons of money can make trillions of dollars on the blood of your sons and daughters. It's really, really sickening. Another article from King World News. Global debt will hyper-balloon as currencies continue to collapse. You know, isn't it amazing? We are dropping $1 million and $2 million bombs as a bankrupt nation while our currency collapses, and life just goes on. Football games, Taylor Swift concerts, you know, it's unbelievable. Word of advice today, get ready. Egon von Grier's made some really good points here. He says expanding war is the end game. It is also the key to the new system. You know, the new CBDCs where they can track everything, keep an eye on you, tax you, even worse than you're being taxed now, and really control you more than they ever could dream of. The current system is being phased out slowly and methodically, and the end game is always the same, war. And this is where it's all heading. And I pray to God that a miracle takes place and that this is avoided. We need somebody to come in and lead this country with peace. We should be, yes, we should have the strongest military on planet Earth. We should have the most advanced security and technology on planet Earth. We should have the strongest borders on planet Earth. We should have a strong currency, the strongest currency on planet Earth. But that's not what we're doing. They honestly, I think, purposely want to crash the system. I think that we have to admit to ourselves that they may crash this whole thing on purpose. You know, the housing market, commercial real estate, the stock market, the bond market, all of it may be all crashed on purpose. The stock market illusion, Egon von Grier says, will continue as markets will be artificially inflated. Expect massive currency devaluation also while this happens. I mean, it is unbelievable. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen from when. Hey, don't do that. Don't eat that. Nugget, eating something you shouldn't be eating. Don't eat that. Nobody knows what's going to happen from day to day. This thing has got so many moving parts. There's so many players in this game. You really have got to be paying attention, ladies and gentlemen. While all this is happening, you know, people are still out taking the vacations. You know, they're out partying. They're out, you know, at the steakhouses. They're out buying things they shouldn't be buying. This is the time that you really got to hunker down. This is a time where you should be buying things that are real, things that you're going to need, things that you could use in an emergency. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to come help you. Don't depend on your church. Don't depend on the police. Don't depend on the system. Nobody is coming to rescue you. This is why you've got to be as self-sufficient as humanly possible right now. And, you know, every time you turn on the TV, you've got to realize they are lying to you. Inflation is not going away, ladies and gentlemen. It is only going to get much worse. Everything that's happening in the Middle East, the Red Sea shipments, you're going to see more pipelines blow up in the Middle East. This will push the price of oil up. And of course, you have the BRICS nations waiting to roll out a new currency, a new financial system. You've got China, you know, waiting in the wings to take Taiwan. While we're over in Eastern Europe, while we're in the Middle East, of course they're going to take Taiwan. It's only a matter of time, and I do believe that they will do it this summer. We shall see. This last article, $10 trillion in U.S. Treasuries coming to the market in 2024. Here's the bottom line. Someone is going to have to buy more than $10 trillion in U.S. bonds in 2024. Who is going to buy this garbage? we know that many of our foreign buyers are shrinking their U.S. bond portfolios. They're not buying bonds, U.S. bonds, like they used to. They are shrinking their bond portfolio. Interest rate sensitive balance sheets such as households, pensions, insurance companies have been buying a vast majority of treasuries in 2023. The question is, will they continue to buy once the Fed starts cutting rates? Who is going to buy this garbage? Well, I think you've guessed it. It's going to be the Fed, like it always is. And again, this is a very artificial system. It's an illusion that has been injected with artificial money. And what you see is not what you get. This whole thing is fake. It's artificial. It's an illusion. And a lot of people are going to chase these markets because I do believe the markets are going to run up. I do believe it's very possible we see the Dow break 40,000. And a lot of people are going to ride it up, and they're going to stay at the poker table a little too long. And they are going to rug pull this thing, ladies and gentlemen. And when they do, so many people are going to lose so much money. And then you have, so many people measuring their wealth because the price of their home went up. They have no idea how fast the equity is going to be drained out of their homes. People feel good when they're paper millionaires or when they have some money on paper, but they have no idea how fast that money can disappear. It's all on paper. It's all artificial. They're living in this euphoria, in this illusion. And they have no idea how quickly, with the press of a button, how fast all this can disappear. And the question is, what do you actually own? What do you own that is real? Do you have real assets? Is your house paid off? Are your cars paid off? Are the credit cards paid off? Do you own some gold? Do you own some silver? Do you have all the food that you need put away and water? Can you protect this stuff? Do you have the training? Do you have the skill sets? Do you have enough security? Do you have something, if somebody in your family gets hurt, like a trauma kit, a first aid kit? Do you have these things? Do you have enough batteries, matches, candles? Do you have a way to cook your food? I mean, these are questions most people will never ask themselves because they're too focused on a Super Bowl. They're too focused on reading comic books and watching cartoons. And the day's going to come. And when it does, people are going to be absolutely in shock. They're going to be trembling in fear because they won't have a job. They're going to lose their homes. They don't own anything. They're going to go hungry. They're going to go homeless. Their kids will be homeless. And this is all a very, very big possibility. And I don't think now it's even a possibility. I think it's imminent. We've seen this throughout the world take place. And people just say it can't happen here because it's America. The dollar can't collapse because it's the dollar. America can't lose a war. Even though we've never won a war since World War II. And the dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power since 1971, basically. So people who say that things just can't happen, these people are drinking the Kool-Aid, and you should not be listening to them. This is not the time for vacations. It's not the time for high-ticket purchases. This is the time to hunker down, live below your means, take money and put it away into real things, things that you're going to need. Not just want, but things that you're going to need to survive, to protect yourself, to feed your family. Things are going to get serious, ladies and gentlemen. Just like this storm that's coming in, we have a massive storm coming to America. And it's not going to just be here for a few days. It's going to be here for a decade or more. It's going to be a long time for America to recover from it, if it even does recover. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Be careful out there. A lot happening. We got bad weather. We got bad players walking here on the soil of the United States of America now, too, with bad intentions. We got a lot of crime here in America. We have our own homegrown crime here in America we have to deal with, too. Now we have to deal with people from all over the world and their intentions and the crime that they bring and the demonic intentions that they have to hurt people here in America too. We have to deal with all this. Nobody's coming to help you. If you have a great church, you're one of the few. God bless you. There aren't too many left. I would stay very, very close to that church. If you have a good, tight circle of friends, make sure you stay close. Make sure you're looking after older people. Make sure you're looking after family members, and make sure you're waking people up. God bless. As always, I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you very, very soon. Stay safe. And pray for a miracle, because we're going to need one. This is absolutely, I mean, it's unbelievable from day to day what we are reading, what we're watching. And really quick, before I wrap this video up, just think about when I started making these videos 6 years ago, whatever it was, think about how much worse it is now, how much more debt we have now, how many more problems, how much more crime we have now, how big did the deficits get in the last 5 years? I mean, just think about where we've come from the last 5 or 6 years to where we are now. How much worse it has gotten, how much worse the economy has gotten, how much more the dollar has been devalued, how much more you're paying at the grocery store, how much more inflation we have, how much more people we have losing their jobs, and how much more competition now we have in the world with financial systems and new currencies. It's an absolute train wreck how much we have just given up in this country, and it does not look good. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to rant. Be safe. God bless.